Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's March 6th, 2022, and Thea and I have been steadily working on trying to get things done around here. And so right now I'm over in the eastern garden plot. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just show you. So here we are. These are the handicap beds that I built years ago that are made out of 4 by 8 by 16 concrete blocks, and these are our strawberry beds. Last year we had a problem with our orbit timer, and it stopped working probably for about a week, and so I lost most of our strawberry plants. So he and I purchased some more strawberry plants and got those in last week, I think, and we're hoping that they come back. The ones that did survive from last year are still here. We've been taking soil. This was the old area where the sweet potatoes were grown last year. So we're going to be using more of that soil for doing potting up plants. Over here, all right, so here's the rain gutter garden here. Thea has planted spinach, and so we can freeze our spinach and also, and that's one of the greens that we like an awful lot. And I know she has some dill down here. And what else does she have? Some basil planted in here, and some dill, and the dill's starting to show up here now. This is the area where we grew all of the hosta berries. Last year there was a nice large bed here, and I came in here with Elon and took all this soil out of here, took all the block wall that I had down along in here out. And this, we're going to be redesigning our fence system here. As I talked about, I'm still not certain how I'm going to do that yet. But as I mentioned in previous videos, this hoop trellis here, which we grew all of our squashes on and beans and a whole variety of different plants, and then we had beds inside of here. This whole trellis system is going to come out, and this is probably the location where I'm going to grow the sweet potatoes. The soil over the last few years, now this was all our gravel in here, but gradually as we enrich the soil where the beds were, a lot of those nutrients just came out here into the areas, the walkways and all. So I'm going to dig a lot of this out, and this will be good soil that we'll ultimately be using. But the grass is getting higher than the concrete, and that gets to be a management issue as well. So this is one of the things I'm going to work on today. I'm going to try and disconnect some of the hoops from this. That hoop trellis over there that you've seen us growing both of these, we've grown the scarlet red runner beans on. But that's probably the only one we're going to leave up. The one over in the western garden plot will be taken up as well. Here's lots of the spearmint. So I came over here, scooped some of it. I've got to transplant this. I think I'm going to put some along the stone wall here. Fit it in some of the spots since it's such a tenacious plant, and I've got to get that out of here because we don't want that interfering with our sweet potatoes. So this is one of the things I'm going to work on now. There's lots of electric fencing wire ties that I use to hold this all together, and we'll be using these cattle panels and hog panels and other places on the property. But one of my goals today is to work on this, see if I can get as much of this down and out of here as possible so we can get ready on the rest of the jobs that we have to do around here. So that's one of the things I'm going to be working on. So here we go. Okay, I was able to get the cattle panels off of the T-posts that are here, and I did go ahead and rake up most of the tape from the cardboard that was underneath it. I still have more to get to. I've got it in a little bit of a pile down there. And so using electrical fencing, we use the thicker gauge, I can't remember what gauge it is. Those really do hold on, they don't rust, they're extremely durable, they'll last for many, many years. They did a great job holding everything together, and it was a real pain in the butt getting it off. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to go get on Hulk, the Takushi TL12 V2 track loader, and I'm going to grab, leave the bucket on it first, grab some of the spearmint. The spearmint's going to get divided up in between some of the stones along the canalway, the sediment collecting canal, and I can mow that. One of the things about spearmint, all your mints, man, they're just so expansive, the root systems. And even though this was under a tarp, all in here is all of the is more of the same spearmint. So I have a lot to get out in here, and I'll just leave the soil with it. But those are all the roots, some going above the soil level, staying underneath the tarp and cardboard. So I'll dig all of this out ultimately. But the first thing I'm going to do is come over here, so I've got this mound in the way, and take this out and just stick it up there for now, and then I'll divide it up later. The good thing about it is it can help to suppress other plants from growing along that border, and it can be mowed if it goes out into the other area there. And I'm not sure, I was planning on putting another food forest in that area. We'll see what I end up doing. I've slowed down a lot since hurting my back here. After I use the bucket to get this out, then I'm going to go ahead and hook onto the tree puller, and I'm going to grab a hold of the T-posts here, get the T-posts uprooted, because I can struggle and hurt myself trying to get this out. Along in here, I've got Creeping Charlie. Later on, I'll come over here with Elon, the excavator, and I'll bring this soil down as well. So we'll find places for all this soil, and we'll get these T-posts out of here. And then later on, I'll gather up all of the cattle panels, all but one. One cattle panel is really bent up over there, where I must have grabbed a hold of it a little bit with Elon when I was mounting up the spearmint. But here are the rest of the cattle panels right here, and I've got to clean those up, and I'll just use the flamethrower, you know, basically just a propane torch or butane torch, to help break down some of these after I stand these up, and then I'll reuse them. I may actually create some of my fence going along here with that. We'll see. And I've got to decide. I think recently, yes, today I posted a video where Thea and I were digging up some of the comfrey and using it. One of the really good things about comfrey is it'll suppress other weeds, and I've given some thought to actually having a row of comfrey wherever we decide where the fence is going to be, because that'll keep a lot of the tenacious weeds under control. And then you can mow up alongside of it without having to get out a weed whacker. So that's one of my thoughts. So I'm going to get started now and get to the next phase of development here. So I think I've gotten most of the roots of the spearmint out. Oh, now I see there's a little bit more here. Ah, dang it. So I'll have to get one more little bit out of here. But this is the passive swale going into the sediment collecting canal system here. So I pulled that material out. I guess I'll have to get back in there to get a little more of this material, but my goal now is to go get on the Hulk and come around the building from that side and grab this material and put it back up there where, not back up there, but up there where I'm going to want to use it to put around the hugelkultur terrace, and that's what that is. It's all wood underneath the grass up there at this point. So we'll get moving now. Okay, so it's still Friday since I started taking this down. This is as far as I'm getting today. I can't go much further right now. I did scoop out the sod that was in here. It got a little bit too deep in here. I'll fill this back in. I think I got all of the spearmint out. I'll have to dig around here where the pipe comes out of the ground to make sure. I've got lots of cleaning up work to do here. I've got some chives in here, really good soil in here, and a couple of dandelions and a little creeping Charlie. And I think what I'll do is I'll scoop some of this out, put it up here in a pile, because this is where I will end up rototilling this and mixing in some mulch with it, just to give me a nice high mound to be able to plant the potatoes in. But I don't want anything too close to the dog run here. I want to have this so that I can walk down in here without having to get when I'm working this bed. So I haven't decided exactly how this is going to be. I still have all the panels that I've got to pick up. I smoothed out the area here, moved some soil up into some of the wet spots. But I'll hopefully tomorrow come down here with Elon and move some of that soil over here, and I'll decide how to work with this area here. I don't like the soil being right up to the top of the concrete here, because in no time at all it's all going to be a bit of an issue. The grasses and all are going to grow up a little bit too tall. So I've just got to decide how I'm going to deal with it. I don't know if I'll be using this cattle panel to making fencing along in here. Got to decide. That's the least expensive way since I have some cattle panel now. But I've got some decisions to make. So that's my project today. Hope you folks found some value in this, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.